Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Miles High Club podcast. I am your host, Miles. This is episode 21, and for the audio listeners, I am pointing to my PlayStation 5 box. Oh, yes, the day has come. It only took 93 days. It only took 2,232 hours, but my PlayStation 5 has finally arrived. It arrived on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. The day I'm recording this is Tuesday. I don't know what day you are listening to this. As long as you're listening, I appreciate it. But yes, the PlayStation, it's arrived. I was nearly going to say I've never been so happy. Slight overstatement, but this is the happiest I've been since the start of 2020. Finally. You've all heard my rants. You know the battles. Didn't pre-order, which I should have, but I didn't. But lesson learned. Lost out on launch day, even though I added to basket on 2 different sites on 2 different occasions. Just flopped for me, and then every other launch since then, I was just too slow. Apparently, even though I'd get alerts and I'd be on the site within 10 seconds, the bots, the scalpers. I can't blame these people, but all the people out there that downloaded software that automatically auto-freshes your website every 10 seconds. Like, there was a lot of people doing a lot of stuff to get their hands on a PlayStation. Then the news came out that the people that make the processors or the chips for the PS5, they were having issues with stock, which means Sony are having issues getting the processor, which means they're not making as many PlayStations as possible. And then I remember seeing something like there's a chance they might not get like full stock, or this issue might not be resolved until November 2021, maybe the start of 2022. Everything was looking bleak. My friend Jade, Jade, if you're watching this, shout out to you, because she kept popping up to me, letting me know where there was PlayStations available to buy. She popped up to me just after Christmas and let me know that her friend, imagine this, her friend was just doing some Christmas shopping, went out Christmas Eve, went to Smith's to buy an Xbox Series X. They didn't have any Xboxes in, but they had 3 PlayStation 5s left in stock, so she just brought one. Didn't even want a PlayStation, and she just happened. These are some of the stories I was dealing with and trying to remain hopeful. And then I said to myself, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to get one until next year now. And then next year came, which is the 2021, and I was like, I just want one before my birthday. Missed a few drops in January, and I was like, I have to wait till February. But by the graces of God and everyone that does, a lot of people are thinking, Miles, come on, calm down. No, you don't understand what I've been through, okay? And again, I planned so much stuff around getting this PlayStation, and now I finally have the PlayStation. Things are starting to move, but yes, it's been an emotional journey, and this box is going to stay here for the whole episode, just so you guys understand the whereabouts of this. That was one piece of good news. Fingers crossed, everything goes okay later on in the week. I don't worry about the details, but sorting out finances and being an adult sorting out your finances is a flipping ball ache. But once they are all sorted, fingers crossed, getting the drive done. This is the homeowner section. This is for all my homeowners out there, or anyone thinking to get. If you're thinking of buying a house, inspect the drive, see what the drive's like. Get a flat. Preferably you want a flat drive. And depending on your preferences as to whether you want a garden or if you don't want to look after a garden, make sure you've got a drive that's already been done. Whether it's recent or old, just get a drive that's going to be done. We were getting quotes. So last year, when we started looking to get the drive done, we were getting quotes 7,000, 8,000. Now, without showing you a picture of my drive or my house, you're not going to understand. I don't think, you can fit 2 cars on our drive. You can fit 2 cars comfortably on our drive, and then it also goes up down the side of the house as well. The side is all paved. It's shitty, dangerous, falling apart paved, but it's paved. And then the big patch outside of our house is garden. So getting all sorts of quotes, 7,000, 8,000. And we found someone, we were walking the dogs the other day, Walked past 2 houses that looked like they had their drives done recently, and I was like, I really like that drive. Knocked on the door, no one answered. It's like, well, I rang the Ring doorbell, so I know they saw me. The Ring doorbell would have set off a notification, and just chose to ignore me. So walked off, and the missus jumped on Facebook, asked if anyone knows anyone that can do drives. Got recommended someone, went on his Facebook, liked the look of the pictures, showed me a picture, and I was like, this picture looks just like those 2 houses down the road. I bet you that it's the same house and that they've done, whoever this is has done that house. So she started messaging them. Turns out the people that own the page that run the driveway thing, they actually lived in one of those houses, and we knocked on their neighbour's door, not realising it was them. So they came round, gave us a quote. It'd be stupid not to. It was such a good price, and the most convenient thing about it is, because I know with these jobs you shouldn't always go for the cheapest option, but one, when the cheapest option is, it's over $3,000 cheaper. And 2, when not only have you seen the work firsthand, but the people that are doing the work live on your road. Like, if something goes wrong, they can't hide. Like, you know, with some companies, like you see like these cowboy builders and stuff, and they deliberately do a bad job, or they'll get paid the deposit, not finish the job, and then they just fuck off and they're never to be seen again. They live in that house. Like, they can't go anywhere. Like, if they stop work halfway through, unless they're moving house, which they haven't got a for sale sign up, unless they're moving house, like, I'm just going to knock your door and say, do you plan on finishing our drive? But that's getting done. That's another. It's been a good week since we last spoke. It has been a fucking great week. And then once the drive's done, because we've got to take things in steps. Once the drive's done, which is looking like the end of March, fingers crossed. I'm trying not to get too excited. I'm trying not to get too much ahead of myself. But fingers crossed, April, the garage. I thought I just saw a massive spider. I didn't. It's just a cobweb. The garage is not being renovated. No, the garage is being completely knocked down. And then we're going to get a summer house built. If you don't know what a summer house is, it's like a cabin. You know, people have like those cabins or chalet. Is it a chalet? Cabin or chalet? I don't know what they call them. But they have those in their garden. We're going to get one of those built in place of this garage. And then get it built, partition it off. The smaller section, like a quarter or a third of it will be the utility room, our outside utility room, so the freezer, the dryer, these 2 shelves here that are just full of all like garage stuff. They will all be locked in there, and then the rest of it will all be my domain. It will be my man cave, my studio. I can't wait, because the podcast is going to look different. The podcast is finally going to sound. Listen, when I tell you the podcast is going to sound so much better, I don't think you understand. Because no matter what I try to use, because I'm in a garage and because it's all just hard floor, hard walls, hard ceiling, my voice just bounces around the room and just echoes around the room. If I get a world-class mic or a really, really professional mic, it's only going to pick up on all of these inflections even more and sound even worse. So thank you everyone that's been rocking with me and hasn't left so far. But listen, what's that phrase? Rome wasn't built in a day, and this podcast is still within its first year. So it's still within the first year, and I'm still going. That's the most proud thing. 20 episodes deep, 20 weeks strong. So yeah, but fingers crossed, by the end of March, the drive will be done. Get that block paved. Finally look like one of the nicer houses on the street instead of having a crap garden. Also towards the end of March, start of April, should be getting the decking done, which really wish I'd done this the first year, or we'd got it done last year. But again, when you just had a baby and you've just bought a house, you can't rush. I feel like we're rushing to get these things done now. But we've still got time. We can still get them done in a few years. But no, we want it all done now. So yeah, hopefully we get the decking done April time, not just in time, but perfectly in time for the summer. I know we'll get into the whole, this roadmap and when we're meant to be actually able to back out in public and with people, but that should get done. The summer house, I have my little man cave, that should all be sorted. Again, I'm so impatient, like I really want to start my gaming channel. I finally got all the bits I need. All I need to do now is just set it up, run a few test streams, and then I can get my gaming channel on the way. And like one half of me wants to wait until all this has been built and I can sit in here and start doing a gaming channel properly. Only because I can't do it in the house. Like if I'm in the house, in the living room where my PS5 is at the minute, I'm not putting it in my room because the TV in the room's crap compared to my TV downstairs, and it's not going to be comfortable sitting on a bed because the TV's on the wall straight across from the bed. So if I'm sat downstairs, in order for the whole streaming to work properly, I need to have headphones on so the game doesn't come out of my TV, which means it won't get picked up on the mic and just saying like the wildest thing. So I need to be able to zone out completely. I can't do that if people are just running around the house making up noise that's going to be picked up on the mic. And if I wait till the night when everyone's asleep, I get into my games. And if I've got my headphones on, which are really good, they cut out all noise, so I won't know how loud I'm being. Next thing you know, Mila's wide awake, screaming down the house because I've woke her up. But again, Rome wasn't built in a day. I just need to be patient. I've put one video up. It's only a short 3-minute video. Go check the MylesHighClub Gaming YouTube channel if you are into your gaming. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw that I switched up the podcast page. It's now like a entertain. I couldn't think. I wanted to call it the MylesHighClub Experience, but then I was just like, I feel like Joe Rogan's really got the word experience kind of zoned. I don't want to be the guy that's got a podcast and then calls it a MylesHighClub Experience, and people are like, oh, he wants to be Joe Rogan that bad. Nope. I mean, I'd love to be Joe Rogan. I'd love to talk to the people. I wouldn't want to be him, but I'd love to talk to the people he talks to. But again, we'll get there. He's got a few years and a bit more experience on me. But again, sorry, I've skipped way ahead talking. How is everyone? I hope you're all as happy as me. I hope everyone is just happy and healthy getting through these calendar days. But yeah, there you go. You've seen the good news. You now know my plan for the next month or two. So be prepared for some disruptions. I might be sat in my dining room doing a few podcasts when this gets taken out. But it'll be worth it. It will be worth it. What else have we got to talk about? Let's stop talking about me, talk about some of the things we've seen. I saw a video similar to this a few weeks ago, but over the weeks I kept seeing it more and more, so I thought I should talk about it because if I play devil's advocate, I see both sides of the story, although I think I still disagree with the whole principle. So police, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but what's happening now is when people start recording police officers, the police are starting to pull out their phones and play popular music. Reason why they're doing that is that when people upload that video to Instagram, Facebook, any kind of social media platform, because there's popular music playing in the background, which is copyrighted, social media end up taking that down. So I don't know if you have like an Instagram story and you're playing music in the back, if you're playing the music yourself, not when you actually select it through Instagram, when you're playing the music yourself, or it's happened with me a few times when I've been like recording Disney. It always happens with Disney. I can never record, like, I tried to record Darth Vader's scene at the end of Rogue One. That was up for a few seconds, and then I remember getting the red exclamation marks and seeing it's been blocked because of copyright. It's happened with Frozen. It always happens. If I take a picture, I'm fine, but if I record, always comes up. So yeah, the videos I've seen, it doesn't look like anything's going on. It's just people look like they've just walked up to the police, or police have walked up to people and they started recording. But as soon as they start recording, the police pull out their phone and start playing the most popular music they can think of, just so it gets taken down. So let's start with the devil advocate because it's going to be short. I can understand why some police officers would do this. If you're a police officer and you're just trying to do your job and you're doing your job like the legal way of doing your job and you're doing everything properly and above the books, and you've got someone harassing you, waving a camera in your face, and you're doing nothing wrong, they're just being annoying, waving a camera in your face, I can understand why, you know what? It might not stop him now, but when his video gets uploaded, it's going to get taken down for popular music. And then when he does it again and starts seeing police play their music, it's going to discourage them, which I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand. The other side is that I do not agree with it. When it comes to the police, I think the police have to understand that because of their history, I can only go by what I see in the media because my first hand isn't there, but because of how police have been seen to deal with things in the media, but especially on social media, you should understand why anytime you have an interaction with someone, that person may want to pull out their phone and record, which I'm sure police have body cams. Not saying it's an equal, but if you have a body cam, which I feel like all police should have a body cam, should be switched on at all times. Because what this means is if you go somewhere and you're just doing your job and someone comes over and they're annoying and harassing you and causing up more trouble, which again is very subjective of what harassment is and what causing trouble is. But if they're being blatantly disobedient enough to the point where, as long as you're captured on your body cam, you know that when you release this footage, the courts, your peers, the public, they will all be like, no, that person, they were in the right to do that. They were in the right to take that person's phone. They were in the right to arrest that person, detain that person. Yeah. I forgot what I was. See how quick you could? I forget about some things. Yeah, talking about harassing. Yes, you're harassing them. You should have a body cam footage on to capture all that. The people that are recording you, I don't agree when I see people recording the police and they're just verbally assaulting the police for, I don't know why, but for whatever reason they make it. There's always two sides to the story, which is why instead of playing popular music and discouraging people from recording the police, you need to take a leaf out of Mrs. Elastigirl, I was going to say Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl's book from The Incredibles 2. Put a body cam suit on, turn it on, and start releasing footage. The police should just be releasing footage from their day-to-day job. If I was the police, I'd be like, right, body cam footage on. Let's show them that not all of us are fucking idiots like it appears to be. Again, if you go on media, it appears that most police officers are dickheads. And if you're not, if it is just a few that are ruining it for the rest, you don't do yourselves any favours by not speaking up when the few do act up. But yeah, if I was in charge of police, I'd be like, right, everyone, body cams on. And I want everyone just to submit it to the police should have a social media department. They should all take all their body cam footage and they should just upload all the body cam footage. Like, here's the police helping someone across the road. Here's the police engaging with some kids or some youths, as they like to call them. Here's the police de-escalating a situation. Here's the police putting their lives on the line to save. Like, there's the police. The police need rebranding. The whole system needs to shake up, but the easiest thing the police can do at the minute is they need a rebranding of how people look at police. Because it's not just people like me that don't like the police. I'm sure we've had this conversation before, but I would put money on there being more people that either dislike or don't care for the police than there are people that like the police. If you're a police officer watching this, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. What else have we got to talk about? Oh, another thing, Texas. Texas is going through it. So Texas got hit by a massive snowstorm next week, which, just to let you all know, like Texas, it doesn't snow. Texas is one of those hot states. It does not snow. It doesn't even get cold from what I've seen, the way people are reacting in Texas. But they got hit by a freak snowstorm. Everything's frozen over. To the point where through a lot of places in Texas, people's water pipes were freezing and bursting, which then was just flooding people's houses. I was watching people's houses and apartment roofs falling. There was holes in the walls. There's water running down the stairwell. The people's houses are just getting flooded. While all this is going on, they've lost power. There's a lot going on out there. And then apparently for the few that haven't lost their power, for the few that have still got their power, they're now being hit with 11 grand bills, 10 grand bills, 8 grand bills, 13 grand bills. And it's, prayers to everyone in Texas because they are going through it. And while Texas are going through it, let me see what he is. He's a senator. I should have Googled what a senator is, but he's basically like in charge of that state. The Senator Ted Cruz was caught. Someone took a picture of him in the airport. In the middle of all this going on, someone took a picture of him in the airport with his family boarding a flight to Cancun, Mexico, which, listen, you want to talk about getting a bad rap? Politicians get a bad rap. Or a bad rep, whatever you want to say. Well, as soon as someone said they're a politician, like if you met someone and they were like, what do you do? And they were like, I'm a politician. You just be like, really? I don't feel like I feel like they've got a bad stigma. And, again, from the way they present themselves, you can see why. But here you go. Your state is in disarray at the minute. It's going through a disaster. It's dealing with things that it's never dealt with before. Your citizens need help more than ever. And it appears, again, I don't know the situation in full, but it appeared at the time that it just looked like him and his family were saying, right, let's get the fuck out of here and let's go to sunny Cancun, while my people are currently dealing with a snowstorm, no water, no power, no electricity, roofs caving in, nowhere to go, no one to look for help. Again, this went trending all over Twitter. The news is all over it. A spokesperson then reached out from Ted Cruz, the senator, and apparently his side of the story is that he wasn't going away to Cancun for a holiday. His daughter, because schools have closed, his daughter wanted to go travel with some friends, so he was just escorting his daughter on the plane over to Cancun, and then was going to fly back immediately that afternoon, which again, politicians are good, aren't they? Not that good. I feel like everyone sees right through that. Nah, buddy. You were trying to get the fuck out of here and go live in the sun for a bit before you dealt with what's going on. And unfortunately, you got caught and you tried to backpedal and you had to mess up your plans and fly back and deal with that shit. But yeah, people in Texas, my prayers do go out to you all. Right. What is next? UK. Here we go, not even UK. Weekly COVID update. World's first coronavirus human challenge study receives ethics approval in the UK. So, I had no idea any of this was going on. Got a message in one of my group chats. I think it was from Joe. It was from Joe Priest, Monkey Flip. Go follow Monkey Flip Media on Instagram. He sent in a picture and then something like, would you guys do this for 4K? And like, would you guys get infected with corona as part of a study for 4K? I was like, not really. So, the UK will be the first country in the world to run a COVID-19 human challenge study following approval from the UK's clinical trials ethics body. So the ethics body are saying everything's ethical, everything's above order, you may proceed and go ahead. Right, I'm not going to read it all out because I feel like I do that every podcast, but from what I've seen, it looks like what they want to do is they want up to 90 volunteers aged 18 to 30, and they will be exposed to COVID-19 in a safe and controlled environment to increase understanding of how the virus affects people. So again, I'm not a scientist, but they're going to get different doses of COVID. So some people are going to get like a full-blown COVID, some people will get like a 10% COVID, low-fat COVID, semi-skinned COVID, things like that. And they're just going to inject a bunch of different healthy people aged 18 to 13 just to see how, see how everyone reacts to it. Even though you think everyone's body will be different, so how accurate can it really be? But no, they want to see how different, I think the main goal is to, I can't find it there, but the main goal is something like they want to find out what the minimum amount of coronavirus it needs to infect someone, so then help them with their studies. Let me try and find out why they are doing this. I read it somewhere, and that's pretty much what they want. Yeah, here you go. So, backed by a 33.6 million UK government investment, the first of its kind study for the virus will involve establishing the smallest amount of the virus needed to cause infection, which will give doctors greater understanding of COVID-19 and help support the pandemic. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I read this whole thing at least 2 times and then skimmed it another time, and nowhere in this one, which is on the actual government website. So everything I just read is direct from the government website. Nowhere on there did I see anything about receiving 4K or payment. They're asking for volunteers. There's no payment or anything required. They just want people to come, get infected with COVID. And again, it's one of those things where they're asking for people who are 18 to 13. They're asking for healthy 18 to 30 year olds. Remember what I said at the start of this pandemic? They told us that COVID does not affect young people or people under 60, young people or anyone who doesn't have any health illnesses or anything like that. Which said to us, we're not affected by it, or it's not deadly to us. I know we're affected by it. I know not plenty, but I know a handful of people under the age of 30 that have all contracted COVID. They've gone through it, rough patches, lost their smell, lost their sense of taste. No, lost their sense of smell, lost their taste, bed bound for a few days, and then bounced right back up onto their feet. So it's just like, if you're willing to just dose these people up just to find out, like, how serious can this thing be? As far as I'm aware, there aren't trials out there of people getting dosed up with AIDS to try and battle that. But with COVID, they're just going to willingly inject 90 people because they want to see how it reacts, which again just lets me know it sounds like something people do in university, just to experiment and do like a study trial and give someone the common flu and see how they react to it with placebos and it. Yeah, whatever. Are you guys interested? Is anyone out there going to do the human trial? Would you put yourself forward? I'm corrupted by too many video games, sci-fi TV shows and movies to willingly put myself forward. I mean, not that we know it's happening. It could be happening, but at least they're not doing compulsory trials. I'm currently watching Z Nation on Netflix, which it's just it's not good, but it's bad, but it's a good bad. Like, it's bad to the point where every time something happens, I'm just like, fuck. But for some strange reason, I just don't pick up the remote, press back, and turn it off. Does that make sense? I don't know if that equates to. Hopefully, you guys have gone through that where you're watching something and you know it's bad. You like the acting, the speech, the CGI, the plot, the story, the lines, the scripts. But you just don't. Something just keeps you watching. That's Z Nation. That's Z Nation for me. And in that, they get prisoners and they're compulsorily given a test of vaccine and then bitten by zombies. And I'm still on the first season, so I'll keep you posted on what happens on that. But yeah, so human studies, it's human trials. I feel like human trials is what you hear in movies, so that's what I'm going to refer to them. The human trials are still going. I want to say now for the good news in the weekly COVID update, but I don't know if it's good news. Boris came out yesterday and gave us the roadmap, the UK roadmap of when we're going to be out of lockdown. And the key word, the thing I took like the most information from is that in the majority of this, it was all subject to change. So it's not a definite plan, it's all subject to change. Apart from the first one, so let's have a look at this roadmap. March the 8th, basically, as well, just let you all know, what the government have said is if you're a Pisces, we don't care about you. That's literally what I'm saying. If you're a Pisces, we don't care about you, we don't care about your life, and Aries, I think. Yeah, Pisces and Aries, and possibly whoever's after them. I don't know my star signs that well. But March the 8th, schools return and socialising in parks and public spaces with one other person is permitted. So the picnic them are running back to school soon. That's in 2 weeks' time, I think. 2 weeks' time, so the kids are going back to school. So all the parents that have been getting driven up the wall, Baxter, crazy dealing with their kids. No more of that. All the parents out there that have had to deal with all of these new school works on apps and websites where it's not even that kid's teacher. It's just like a generic thing where they're telling you how to do work and you've got to watch a video, pause it, go and do a task, come back, carry on. You can't ask anyone a question. You can't really interact. You're just being told to do something like that. I don't think the kids are retaining it. Like, if anyone out there with kids that are at the school age, like high school as well, but the primary school age between like years 3 and year 6. I don't know about you, but usually you can ask them, how was school? Or what did you learn today? Tell me something new you learned today. And they normally can tell you one thing. Might not be new, but they can tell you one thing like, oh, we did this and learned about this. What did you learn? And they probably can't tell you. But at home, I think they're just zoned out, just trying to get work done just so they can mark it off. And you ask them, what did you do today? It's like, I don't know, something to do with something. And but yes, the kids are going back to school, which is good. They need to socialise and get out of our hair and carry on doing that. Next step, I think it was called a 4-step process, but I can't remember what step falls in where. March 29th, school Easter holidays begin with larger groups of up to 6 people or 2 households allowed to gather in parks and gardens. You'd have been thought the way I walk my dog and I see a bunch of people together, I'd been thought that was the case, but clearly we're not supposed to be doing that. So yeah, March 29th, larger groups of 6 people. This is where it starts getting a bit better, depending on what your wants and needs are. April the 12th, shops, hairdressers, nail salons, libraries, outdoor attractions, outdoor hospitality venues such as beer gardens will all reopen. Self-contained accommodations such as hotels, hostels, B&Bs will all be able to reopen for overnight stays, but it will be household only. So like, if you want to go and stay in a hotel by yourself, you can do. If you and your wife, you and a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, you guys want to go out and get some time away, then you can do. And I thought hotels are open, or are not all hotels open? I saw a lot of hotels on Valentine's Day. I saw a few people at home. Well, I saw a few hotels on Valentine's Day. So a lot of people at home, but I definitely saw people putting up Valentine's posts in hotels. So that's April 12th. So yes, shops and all that. Barbers. Oh man, I miss my barber. Joe, if you're watching, I miss you. But yeah, barbers and all that, that's the good stuff. May 17th, 2 households or groups of up to 6 people may be allowed to, you'll be allowed to mix indoors, and crowds of up to 10,000 in the largest venues will be allowed at performances and sporting events. This is also the earliest date that foreign holidays will be reviewed. So they're not saying you'll be able to go on holiday freely, but that's when they're going to review it. I heard in stadiums with, I think it's 40,000 capacity or bigger, they can have up to 10,000 people in attendance. So football games, music concerts maybe. I'm sure artists out there are itching to go out there and get touring, even if it is only 10,000 people in a 40,000 capacity stadium. 10,000 is 10,000. You're still going to make some money off that. But yeah, that's all opening back up. And then it just says as soon as possible, no later than step 3. So step 3 is that May one. So right after that, ministers were committed to reviewing social distancing guidance that has prevented loved ones from hugging for nearly a year. If you ain't, I don't want to trigger anyone, so permitted. If you've got loved ones who are truly in the danger zone, I understand. But listen, if you ain't seen certain loved ones and you blamed it on the pandemic, they are not your loved ones. My mum went about 2 months, I think she went 2-3 months in that first pandemic, and then she was like, fuck this, I want to see my granddaughter. Drop her off, she's staying over the night. Every weekend, we'll keep doing that. Whenever you want, you just drop her off, she can sleep over. My mum's been seeing me ever since then. Apart from when we got COVID in the house, on those 2 occasions, the only time my mum's gone like a week or 2 weeks without seeing her. Or without seeing me and Mila. But yeah, apart from that, Mila's been around there every single weekend. Anyone stopping out, I would have just said it's my bubble. Childcare. It's got to be done. But yeah, that's that. And then the one that made me, I think the one that's got everyone excited is June 21st, when all remaining restrictions on social contact could be lifted, larger events can go ahead, and nightclubs can finally reopen. Now, it says, it's outdoor hospitality. So like, I think if pubs have got outdoors, they can open, but I don't think pubs can open until June 21st. So I think pubs and nightclubs, on the look of it, are opening June 21st, just in time for the summer. All day parties, those summer day parties are gonna be, I don't know if there's a word to describe what these summer parties are gonna be like, but I'm definitely hitting a brunch. The first bashment brunch I see, Birmingham, London, Manchester, wherever it is, that first bashment brunch, I am there with my Jamaica bandana and a Magnum in hand ready. But yeah, June 21st, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but on Twitter, it's also going around. People are trying to start petitions to get June 21st in as a bank holiday. They're trying to petition. Some people are putting the spin on it as, we want it as a bank holiday to say thank you to the NHS and all the key workers out there that stuck with them the hard time. Most people in my head are like, listen, nightclubs are opening back up, pubs are opening back up. I don't want to go to work. I want to make the most of it. Make June 21st a bank holiday, so I haven't got to work and I can get litty like a titty. I'm just being honest. That's what seems to be going on. That's what seems to be everyone's MO around that. But I'm not against a bank holiday in June. But there you go. There's our roadmap. Like I said, apart from kids going back to school March 8th, all of that was subject to change. They're saying that, is it Matt Hancock? I'm sure he's called Matt Hancock. He's basically been saying, it's up to us. We've got to do this to ensure that we can do all this. They're going to keep monitoring the numbers. I think it's a way of saying, look, this can happen if everyone just follows what we want to do. And then what's going to happen is we'll get to April 12th and they'll be like, people haven't listened, so we're just going to push all these dates even further back. I'm sorry, I got distracted then. It's literally just popped up. As I'm doing this, it's just popped up on my tablet saying Tiger Woods has been taken to hospital following a car crash in Los Angeles. Tiger Woods was taken to hospital after a car crash on Tuesday at approximately 7:12 a.m. The LA County Sheriff's Department said. The golfer was driving alone when his vehicle flipped. Emergency personnel used the device called the Jaws of Life to cut Woods from his car. His condition is unknown at the time. Christ, well, prayers are with Tiger Woods and his family, and I hope everything is okay because listen, man, we're losing too many people. We're losing too many people. We're losing too many black people as well. Not that I'm saying any other race should be getting taken away more. I'm just saying, like, I just see a lot of black people dying, so, you know. I want all deaths to slow down. That sounds like all lives matter. I want all deaths to slow down. I'm just saying, just highlighting the black ones because they're the ones that I seem to see a lot more effective, more effective towards me. So, you know, let's not start something up over that. Right. What's on the box? What is on the box? Weekly TV and film review-ish segment. What's on the box? What is everybody watching at home? Old shows, new shows, movies, originals. What are you all watching? Get in the comments and let me know. First things first, Mortal Kombat trailer dropped. Keep it short and sweet. Action looks dope. Not too sure about the story. This trailer was for the Mortal Kombat gaming fans. If you're into gaming, if you're into the Mortal Kombat games, the fatalities, this trailer was all dedicated towards you. Mortal Kombat, it's a tournament. I didn't like the dragon symbol, you're born with it, it's a birthmark. Like, that's a very specific birthmark. Chosen ones, you gotta go to some nether realm and battle to save the realm. The whole game story spiel. We see Jax. Jax is in there. Jax gets gripped by Sub-Zero's ice arms, and his arms get turned to ice, and they just smash, and that's how Jax loses his arms. Obviously, if you know Mortal Kombat, Jax has got 2 metal arms when he fights. We see Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero looks sick. We see, I think Johnny Cage is in there. I think we see Sonya Blade. Is it Melina? I want to say Melina, but I'm not too sure. The girl with the mouth. Who's the dude? We see the dude with the 4 arms. My memory is really bad. We see Raiden. We see Scorpion. The fight. I feel like they give away too much, but there's a little snippet of the fight scene between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Sub-Zero hits Scorpion and his blood comes out, and Sub-Zero freezes the blood into a dagger and stabs him, builds an ice wall, throws him into the ice wall, and Scorpion throws his spear hook at him. He's like, get over here. The girl over here sounds crazy. It sounds like Bane going through a tunnel with a pillowcase over his head. That's the best way I can explain it. But the action looks dope. We'll see what the story's like. The graphics and CGI from the trailer look great. I'm here for it. I don't know when it's coming out. I didn't pay that much attention. But would I go to cinema to watch it? Yes, I would. Next one, Cruella. This, I haven't read anything about this. I didn't even know it was coming out until the trailer came out. I think it's a Disney villain origin story, which this is a topic that we can get into in a bit. But yeah, Cruella, I've got faith in Disney. I've got faith in Emma Stone. At first, when I saw the pictures and I was like, Emma Stone as Cruella, I was like, I didn't see Emma Stone as Cruella. Someone like Helena, I can't remember. You know who Helena is. She plays Bellatrix Lestrange in Harry Potter. Her, I always forget her name. I always mess up her surname, like Both Cartham. I might have just made that up. Helena, she would have been really good at playing it. That's who I had in my head for Cruella. But no, I have faith in Emma Stone. The trailer looks good. It looks different. again, it's an origin story, so it's not 101 Dalmatians where it's Cruella after the dogs, which is why I got confused to start with. It's more of an origin story of Cruella, which I wouldn't have asked for it. If you gave me a list of Disney villains, we'll do it now. If you gave me a list of Disney villains, I was like, if you wanted to see a Disney villain origin story, who would you want to see? Hades, from the get-go, one, I love Greek mythology. Two, Hercules is my second favourite Disney film. At one point I was thinking Scar, but I was like, no, it would just be Scar being overshadowed by Mufasa. So no. Hades would be a great one. Ursula from Little Mermaid, I imagine they could do a good one with that. If you're into your history, maybe Attila the Hun and for Mulan, but well, it's not Attila the Hun that's in Mulan, but no, but no, for me it's Hades and Ursula. There's so many more villains in Disney. I feel like every movie has a villain, but like real classic Disney villains. They've already done Maleficent, so that's from Sleeping Beauty. Yes, they've already done her. Maybe Ethel from Tangled. Maybe see an origin story on her. Even though now in Tangled they sort of show you that she's a witch, but no, maybe like further back before all that. But yeah. So Cruella's coming out, and it's live action. It's not a live action remake, it's just live action, which Disney have too. They have live actions, but their live action splits into two. They've got their live action. I split Disney live actions into two. You've got your Disney live action retakes or like sequels. So for example, Mary Poppins, the new one, that I really like that new Mary Poppins. That's live action, but it's not a remake. It's like a continuation from the animated one. Maleficent 1 and 2, they're live action. I like number 1. Number 2's, I'll watch it. I'm not against it. I wouldn't go out my way to watch it, but I've seen it and it was alright. Who else has got them? Alice in Wonderland, they might be my two favourites. 1 and 2, I like them both. I don't know what it is about Alice in Wonderland. I just really like Alice in Wonderland. That's not a remake, that's just that's a continuation again from the animated one. So, and then you've got my other category, which is live action remakes. So that's Jungle Book, Aladdin, Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan, Dumbo, Beauty and the Beast, 101 Dalmatians. That was one of the earlier live action remakes. Which is funny, like we all think this live action thing is something that's happened recently, probably because in the past 6 years it feels like they've put out one a year. But no, 101 Dalmatians was one of the first. So I was like, how do we rate them? So I'll keep it simple. I'll go out of 5. Jungle Book is my favourite live action remake. Yeah, Jungle Book is my favourite live action remake. I loved it when it first came out, and I still love it today watching it. So live action, Jungle Book is my favourite. I give it 5 out of 5. Aladdin was really good. I don't remember the Aladdin animated story too much. So when it came out, I was like, oh, this seems different from the animated movie, but I'm sure it's near enough the exact same. There's a few little differences, but I'm sure it's pretty much the exact same as the animated movie. But still, the cast is amazing. I'm a big fan of Will Smith. I think Will Smith was a good job as the genie. He was never ever going to be Robin Williams. He didn't try to be Robin Williams, which was really good. He put his own Will Smith cool spin on it. I liked it. Aladdin, 4 out of 5. Lion King, my favourite movie. Lion King is my favourite movie. My favourite Disney movie. It might just be my favourite movie of all time. So when I heard there was a live action, I was like, I'm going to watch it, but I don't know if I'm here for it. Seth Rogen as Pumbaa stole the show for me, but Timon and Pumbaa both stole the show for me. My issue is, it's not with Beyonce, but because Beyonce is Beyonce and her voice is so distinguishable, every time Nala spoke, I would immediately be taken out of the movie and be like, oh, that's Beyonce. Like everyone else, for some reason, Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, when I first heard it, I was like, oh my god, that's Seth Rogen. I was like, I love it. It worked. It's just his type of character, the things I've seen him in. Seth Rogen as Pumbaa worked. Hearing Beyonce as Nala, it just kept dropping the suspension of belief in me. I just kept coming out of the movie and be like, oh, it's Beyonce. I'm watching a bunch of animated lions run around. But It had some saving graces in there. Lion King, I'll give a 3.5 out of 5. I just can't give it a 3 out of... No, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I won't do points because I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Lady and the Tramp, haven't watched it. Heard it's really good, so I can't quote on that one. Mulan, 2 out of 5. Might even be a 1 out of 5. Like, as a movie, it's a 2 out of 5. When you compare it to the animated one, which is my third favourite Disney movie, it's a 1 out of 5. They changed way too much. And I understand why, because I don't understand exactly why, but I just know that they changed it to be less offensive or stereotypical to the Chinese and the Chinese market. So I understand what they did with that. Dumbo, I started to watch Dumbo and turned it off after like 20-30 minutes, and I haven't tried to rewatch it since. Is that on me? Is that on Dumbo? Hard to say. Can't write that one. Beauty and the Beast. I give that a 3 as well. Again, I was never the biggest fan of the animated series Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong. I like it. I wouldn't put it in my top 5. The animated, the exact same. But it was just Joe Gad, Luke. What's his name? He's got such a. I feel like saying he's got like such a regular name, but the guy that played Gaston, Emma Watson as Belle. Yeah, it was a really good cast, and when they were on screen, they saved it for me. Because again, I'm not really the biggest Beauty and the Beast fan, but it's worth the watch. 3 out of 5. And then 101 Dalmatians, good old classic, 4 out of 5. You've got to love it, and the woman that plays Cruella, such a creepy Cruella. And they actually use real dogs in most of it, if not all of it. So again, there's no CGI to take you out of that. The dogs don't talk; they just bark. Yeah, 101 Dalmatians. I'm a big fan of that. So that's that out of the way. Oh, Stars has dropped as well. So today's Tuesday. So today in the UK, Stars has dropped on Disney Plus, which is just a whole bunch of other collections from, like, I think I saw 21st Century, ABC, other studios. So to put it in perspective, on Stars you'll see Simpsons, American Dad, Family Guy, a new one called Solar Opposites, which I watched the first 2 episodes of, from the same makers of Rick and Morty. It's good. I enjoyed it. I can see myself binging this whole season when all of them officially come out. Scrubs is on there, Modern Family, Blackish, Atlanta. Stars looks like really good. It's all adult content, so not like filthy porn stuff, but it's all adult content. If you look at Disney, even the Marvel and Star Wars things, it's all aimed at children and kids and family stuff. Stars is all about adult entertainment. ER's on there, Scrubs on there, Lost is on there, X-Files is on there. I was literally trying to remember all the things that I saw when I was flicking through it earlier on. But yeah, that's out. So finally I've got more content to watch, even if it's something old that I've never seen before. I've absolutely gone through Netflix. I haven't watched a lot of things, but you know when you go through Netflix and nothing looks appealing? Does that? And with Amazon Prime, I hate Amazon Prime's interface. It's so annoying. Like, I haven't watched American Gods Season 3 yet, and I was really into the first 2 seasons, and it's just because I hate going on Amazon Prime because the interface annoys me so much. But talking of Amazon Prime, watched a new movie on Amazon Prime called Bliss, starring it's Owen Wilson and is it Salma? Hold on, let me find out what her name is. Cast. It's Owen Wilson, definitely plays the lead man, and yeah, Salma Hayek, who plays Isabel. You'll know her. She's the Latino actress that's in quite a few things, and off the top of my head, for some reason, I can't think of what she's in. Bill Nye. I knew I saw Bill Nye in there. Bill Nye is in there. Yeah. Bliss. I'm going to read. An unfulfilled man and a mysterious woman believe they are living in a simulated reality, but when their newfound bliss world begins to bleed into the ugly world, they must decide what's real and where they truly belong. So what I picked up from this movie is Owen Wilson's in the real world. So like he's in the real world now, bumps into some woman. She asks him to do something, and when they're in a restaurant, she drops something into his drink. I think it's all about drug and drug addiction. And I basically think what happens is every time he takes, because throughout it, they're always chasing to get these things called crystals, which are meant to help them travel to and from. So I believe what happens is when they're in the sort of greyish parts of the movie, that's reality, and then whenever it brightens up and they're in their bliss, that's them on the drugs, living their life of euphoria, which is why they're always chasing it, because it ends with him in rehab. He has a relationship with his daughter that falls apart, and it's on the brink, and she's like, you need to pick between these two worlds. I'm assuming the drug world and the real world. I felt like it's a good message that could have been executed a lot better. It just wasn't for me. I was in and out of the film. I wasn't paying too much attention. I don't know. It just seemed very convoluted and just. I wasn't a fan. Yeah, I was. Yeah, again, there's a comment here. The film seems uncertain whether it wants to give us a trippy fantasy or a gritty, hard morality tale. It gets its wires crossed a lot. But enough of Amazon Prime. Let's jump right back over to Disney Plus and talk about WandaVision episode 7. Agatha all along. Listen, go back and watch a few episodes. Didn't I tell you it was Agatha? I didn't. Again, I shouldn't. I watched a lot of YouTube videos and I was into a lot of conspiracy and theory, so I was just applying all the most common ones. But my notes, always got to go to my notes when it comes to it. Yes, episode 7, WandaVision came out. It turns out it was Agatha all along. She was pulling all the strings. When it actually shows you, there's like a flashback of Agatha landing. You see like her witch boots landing before it changes, and she gives the camera a wink and walks in the house. I've got 2 theories that I haven't seen anywhere. I haven't seen these ones on YouTube. These are just what I thought. My one theory is that Agatha sensed Wanda's grief and sadness because they're both Nexus beings, which means they live inside. I don't know how to explain it properly. I'm not the best at that. If they live outside of reality, I think that's one way of saying it, or they can control outside of reality. I either think she picked up on her grief, found Wanda, and then abused that grief, caused the hex herself, created the hex herself, created the TV show, but made Wanda think she was doing it all. Or the second theory, which I want to go with more, is that Wanda was grief-stricken. She had the idea, or found out somehow about Vision, had the idea to go and rescue Vision somewhere. She went crazy, created this false reality. The immense power it created alerted Agnes, who came over, was watching her for a bit and thought, I know exactly how I can manipulate this situation, and then began manipulating it. But again, episode 2, the magic show when the bunny goes crazy, that was Agnes. Episode 5 with her brother showing up, that was Agnes. She killed Sparky. Episode 6, the Halloween episode, I think. Yeah, episode 6, the Halloween episode, that was all Agnes. When she was in the car, she was just pretending, which I think she was pretending to do that, and I think she froze all the people the further out it got to push Vision further and further away from Wanda to make him leave, which it worked, but I don't know if she anticipated Wanda making the hex bigger, which is why I think Wanda created it, because she was like, and made the hex bigger, not only to pick up Vision, but to snatch everything else up as well. Yeah, she goes around the house, she looks after them, she's like, oh, I'll look after the boys, takes the boys home. Is it Tommy? He's like, you're really quiet. He's like, at the house it's really loud, but like, you're really quiet, which again, why is she quiet? Is it because probably because she's doing it all? Wanda comes round after, you know what, we'll get to all that. But yeah, Wanda enters a basement, she's looking for her missing twins. Agnes reveals that she's Agatha Harkness, which again, I'm sure I mentioned Agnes, Agatha, Nurse, Harkness, put them together. Turns out she's responsible for everything. Can't wait. Now, I love Catherine Hahn, so I'm hoping she's the big bad. Because I've been saying I feel like Mephisto's behind it, so I feel like either Mephisto's running the show, or what I feel like they should do if they want to include Mephisto is that Mephisto and Agatha are working together because they want different things. I think Mephisto could be working from the dead and using Agatha to revive him, which is very similar to the comics, I think, because the two boys are actually fragmented souls fragments of Mephisto's soul, 2 fragments of Mephisto's soul. So, you know, there's that. Agatha all along. And she killed Sparky, she killed the dog. I told you she killed that dog. It was too convinced. But yeah, so it's Agatha. I hope there's not a bigger bad, because Monica, Agatha, Darcy, Darcy and Wanda are the four main women. Marvel, the MCU has been very lackluster for women, and they've got these 4 powerhouses just carrying this show on their back. Don't get me wrong, Vision and Jimmy Woo are amazing. I love Vision and I love Woo's character, and Hayward is a prick. Like, he plays his role so well because he's so detestable. But I feel like it should all be down to the women. The women should settle it, and then if anything happens, we'll get to it in a bit, but I feel like they should just leave it to be the women in there as well. So, the circus. We saw the circus scenes. Darcy was in the circus. Vision wakes up, is talking to us like, you don't remember me. She thinks he's trying to get a date with her. She says, yes, but I'm ordering lobster. I love that. They're the dynamic duo we didn't know we needed, but I want to see a spin-off. I would be here for a spin-off of just them two and their, I would say their journey back to Wanda, but as you see later on. Vision wakes her up. She's like, I always wanted to be on WandaVision. She remembers everything. She catches Vision up on everything that's happened. Tells him that he died in Infinity War. Tells him that Wanda killed him in Infinity War to save the world, but then Thanos used the time stone, brought him back to life, then killed him himself. Everyone got snapped away, then came back 5 years later. He's now all up to date with all of that. They get in the car, leave the circus, and head back to town. This episode, it's very Modern Family. I would say the Modern Family Office because of the way they shoot, the way they do like the off-piece camera. But it's more Modern Family, because Modern Family, they do that when they're just off out in random places, just like they were doing this episode. So it was very Modern Family. And there's a bit where he sat down, he's like, I think Wanda's doing these things to keep me from going home. Like, all the lights keep going red, there's all these delays, and then the lights go red, and then when the lights go green, roadworks appear out of nowhere, then when the roadworks go, kids walk past. And then in the end, he just goes, I need to go get my wife, and flies up out the top of the car. What other bits have I got in my notes? Hayward, we see Hayward. He looks like, I think he wants to blow up the Hex. I think he wants to bomb the Hex. He seems to want to bomb the Hex. He asks about WandaVision. It's no longer broadcasting. There's some smug look. Jimmy confirms Darcy's email saying that Hayward wanted to bring Vision online. So I don't know what his plans are, but he wanted to bring Vision back online, which wouldn't have gone to plan for him, because Vision... Well, one Vision's dead, so he can't come back alive. But it wouldn't have gone the way he wants. He wants a weapon. Why he wants a weapon, I'm not too sure. And then there was my scene. The mighty Monica Rambeau, Photon or Spectrum. I don't know which way they're gonna go. In the comics, she's known as some comics she's known as Photon. Some comics she's known as Spectrum. In the earlier episode when they're on about her mom, it says Maria Photon Rambeau, so she might take Photon as her superhero name in honor of her mom. But yeah, she meets up with the aerospace engineers who are part of SWORD, but they seem like a breakaway faction. Could they be Skrulls? We saw them at the end of Marvel, so we know Monica knows about Skrulls. It could be like the Skrull division that Hayward doesn't know about, that work with Nick Fury. Who knows? She meets up with them. She gets in her little armored tank thing. She tries to drive through. It doesn't work. It ends up changing the car. She has to then jump out. She jumps out. The car gets flipped over, and you can see that it's changed the front end of a car back into some some late 90s, early 2000s old banger. She looks at Jimmy. He's like, no, and then she runs into the barrier, saying, I can do it. And then this whole scene, from that moment onwards, this whole scene, as she pushes through the barrier, she hears a bunch of familiar voices. I don't know if everything you hear is from Captain Marvel, but there were a few lines in there that were from Captain Marvel, because you hear Captain Marvel speak, you hear Monica's mom speak, you hear Nick Fury speak. What What did I write down? I ripped Monica saying, "Mom, maybe I could fly up and meet you halfway." Fury replies, "Only if you learn to glow like your Aunt Carol," which means, oh, I could hear talking, and I was thinking, where's it coming from? I think it's coming from tablet. Yeah, and that was from the Captain Marvel movie, and like you see like Monica as it splits her. I should have written down what it split her into. It split her into like there's Geraldine, Monica in the space armor suit, there's Monica in an astronaut suit, I think, and Monica back when she's in the hospital. And then she zaps together, pushes through the barrier, her eyes go blue, she falls to the floor. Monica's got powers, she then stands up, and she can see the electromagnetic spectrum or radiation for what it is before it all clears up. She runs over to Wanda's house, bursts in the house. "Wanda, you're not doing this." Wanda's like, "What are you doing here? You should be gone." Chaos magic wraps around Monica, and this is where I got too excited. She takes Monica outside and throws her up and then just slams her down. But then when she stands up, Monica just hits the superhero landing and just looks up at her and stands up, and Wanda's like, "Oh." And then she's like, "I know you're not doing this. You need to help me. Hayward wants to take you out. I need you to help me to help you." And then out of nowhere, you see Agatha looking through the curtains and the windows. This is before we know. This is Agnes. Before we know about Agnes, sorry. The whole Agnes reveal was at the end of the episode. I'm jumping backwards and forwards here, but I watched it and then went back and rewatched it, and then I started taking my notes sporadically and rewinding and fast forwarding. Oh, it was such a good episode. But yeah, Agnes comes out. She's like, "Young lady, I think you've done enough. You need to leave." Takes Wanda into the house, and then that's when Wanda sits in the house. She sees the sandwiches, TV. She's like, "Where are the twins?" She's like, "Oh, I think they're in the basement." She goes down to the basement. Agnes comes in, stroking the rabbit. "I'm Agatha Harkness. Nice to meet you, darling." Ha 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 ha. "You didn't think you was the only witch around." Shuts the door. Wanda's face ends, and I was like, I keep forgetting WandaVision is a TV show, and every time I see it, because I'm so used to Marvel and those Marvel characters, I keep telling myself it's a movie, so I'm like, oh, I've got another hour. Can't wait. And then that comes up, but for some reason, I don't know why, but at the end of every single WandaVision episode, I think it's because it's Marvel and we're used to it, I always just keep like skimming over the credits, see if there's any end credit scenes. And for 6 episodes, there hasn't been. This episode, the 7th episode, there was an end credit scene. We hadn't seen, after that happened, we didn't see Monica again after Agnes walked her away. I think you see her walk off after them, but she obviously doesn't go in the house. We don't see Quicksilver all episode. I think there's a mention. Is there a mention of him? There's a mention of him at the start. The kids are like, "Where is he?" He's like, "Oh, he's not your uncle. Don't believe a word he says." Yeah, Monica's walking. She walks up to Agnes's house. She opens the basement door from the outside, sees all the vines, and then Quicksilver appears behind her and goes, "Snooper's gone snoop," and turns around. They've both got purple eyes. Oh, I don't know if that means Monica's now under a trance or what, but oh my gosh. Episode 8, I'm calling it now. Episode 8 is going to be a fight between, I reckon Agatha's going to do something to Wanda. It's going to be a fight between Wanda and Monica. Monica's going to hit her upside her head or hit her with some sort of blast. That's going to free her from the trance. It'll then be Wanda and Monica versus Agatha. Agatha's probably going to dispose of Monica. Wanda's going to take her out. Quicksilver might try help, which is why Vision will get involved. I still don't know what Hayward's plan is. I feel like he's got a plan. But also, I've saw rumours that WandaVision's only one, it's going to be one season. It's like not going to be a continuous season thing. And it makes sense because the story they're telling is too long for a movie. And because they want to tell it in a certain way, in a certain time to set up the multiverse, they can't tell it over a span of more than one movie. So again, but it's also too short of a story to tell over a series of seasons. Instead of just one season, 9 episodes, take this, and then we'll see you back in the movies. But yes. Oh, what a episode. Catherine Hahn, I think I took a few things down as well. The song, it was Agatha All Along. That's Catherine Hahn singing. I watched a YouTube video, so there's a bit where they're doing one of those sit-down interviews like they do in Modern Family, where Wanda's, again, you don't know who Wanda's talking to, but it's called breaking the fourth wall, which is what they're doing because they're talking to the camera. And you hear someone behind the camera say, "Do you not think that's your responsibility?" I watched a YouTube video where they pitched it up, and that was Catherine Hahn again. She just said that and then dipped her voice, because at the end, No, when she says it's Agatha all along, you see it's Agatha sat in the director's chair when she goes shh when she's interviewing Wanda. So she's obviously got Wanda under some trance, or has some very, very strong powers. Sorry. Agatha says, I did actually bite a kid once when she was taking the kids. I hope she hasn't ate them. I really hope the boys are okay. Again, if it's like the comics, I don't know if it will be. There were objects shifting between time periods. So in the trailer, when you see Wanda sat down and she's like, whoosh, and everything goes back to new. I thought that was like a new power. No, I thought that was her changing everything, but everything was going crazy, and then she swapped that. That's crazy. It's Billy that hears the voices. Billy's hearing the voices. Apparently, the rumors are that he hears the voices of the true personalities of the residents of Rescue. Agnes is quiet because her personality isn't currently being suppressed. Who knows? I'm trying to read all my notes. All my notes for that. Yeah, it's episode 8 in 3 days' time. I can't wait. What's going to happen with Monica, Wanda? What's going to happen with Agnes and Wanda? What's going to happen with Quicksilver and Monica? Where's Vision? He flew out of the truck. Where's he? Darcy's in the car. Is she going to get back? What's Jimmy Woo doing? He's currently outside by himself with these aerospace engineers. What's Hayward's plan? Is he actually going to bomb the Hex or attempt to bomb the Hex? Where are the boys? There is so much. There is so much. I can't wait for episode 8. I really can't. But that brings us to another end of the episode, another end to the Miles High Club podcast. Thank you very much for rocking with me for another episode. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please help me beat these algorithms. Subscribe, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend about the podcast. And fingers crossed for me, like I said, over the next month or two, there are a lot of changes happening. We've got the station. Bigger changes are coming now. Get the drive done. Get my garage knocked down, get the summer house built, get it kitted out and decorated, ready for podcasting and gaming, so I can really start taking this thing seriously. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to drop a comment as well. Thank you very much. This has been the MylesHighClub Podcast. Peace!